All right, so Keith wants to know, when did you find that Bannon was lying about being an insider in Trump's circle? I wasn't aware of his unwelcome status.
Yeah, because the media doesn't want you to be aware. And look, I know some people will be mad that we're talking about Donald Trump taking a steaming dump on Steve Bannon. But he did. You may like Steve Bannon. Hey, it's also okay if you like Steve Bannon and you disagree with Donald Trump. That's okay. Or maybe you like Donald Trump and you also like Steve. All of these things are okay. I'm just telling you that this idea of making Trump guilty by association, which the media, that's what they want to do. They want to connect these lines, and it's really, really a stretch. Donald Trump went out of his way to say not only that Steve Bannon wasn't a part of his circle, but that he was a loser. He went out of his way to do it.
And his book sucks.
There is no easy, quick breakup with Donald
And that's
Trump.
something you're not going to find. I will tell you, that's one of those examples where you won't find anywhere. And this is the Trump consistency, right, incidents. You won't find any. Why? Because the left doesn't want to cover it. And, of course, Steve Bannon doesn't want to cover it. The right doesn't want to cover it. Because they want to get on Steve Bannon's show. I'm just telling you exactly. You want me to go back to what was said?
No, it's true. I mean,
if you've got a problem with what we said, it's your problems with Donald Trump.
Yes, your problem is with Donald. And by the way, you can have a problem with Donald Trump.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's totally fine. I think you should have disagreements with Donald Trump, and I don't think you should condemn anyone who comes out and says, you know what, I disagree with Donald Trump on this. That's okay. We don't do hero worship. Or you could even have a problem with the fact that Donald Trump doesn't like Steve Bannon, but he doesn't like him. He doesn't like him, and he has no respect for him, and he's gone out of his way. Let me read the quote again. This is overlay R. Steve Bannon has nothing to do with me or my presidency. This is in 2018. When he was fired, he not only lost his job, he lost his mind, folks. Lost his mind. Steve was a staffer who worked for me after I'd already won the nomination by defeating 17 candidates. Then he went on later to say, Steve pretends to be at war with the media. Sorry. If you know the way Trump, this is so brutal.
Yeah.
Steve pretends to be at war with the media, which he calls the opposition party. That's what he calls it. That's what he calls it. Yet he spent his time at the White House leaking false information to the media to make himself seem far more important than he was, which was not a lot. It was not a lot. It is the only thing. This is actual quote.
Sounds nothing like
it. It is the only thing he does well. I know what you're thinking. This is not an actual quote. I know what you're thinking. Some things, the only thing. Are there other things? No. No other things. This is the only thing. That's the only thing he does. People would say that. They would tell me that's the only thing. I'd say, really? There's got to be other things he does well. It's the only thing he's ever done well. Steve.
There's got to be
it reads like a roast. Steve was rarely in a one-on-one meeting with me and only pretends to have had influence to fool a few people with no access and no clue. And the final thing, with no access and no clue, whom he helped write phony books.
Oh, I love it.
In other words, it could not be less relevant to Donald Trump or January 6th.
No.
I don't give a rat's ass what Steve Bannon says. And by the way, I say this is a guy, the only reason any of you are watching right now or know anything about me is because of that guy right there, Andrew Breitbart. Before it was Breitbart.com, the trademark, it was Big Hollywood. And before that even existed, I had a conversation with Andrew Breitbart and Dennis Miller. So it doesn't bring me any joy to, well, it does kind of just because it's funny the way that Donald Trump said it. Yeah. But yeah, no, that's a good question. And you know what? Yeah. This is why I encourage you to do your own research. If it is Donald Trump taking a steaming crap on someone who maybe he points out to be a false conservative or a wolf in sheep's clothing, or someone who we perceive to be on our side, you can't find that anywhere. You can't find it on the left, and the right won't refute it because they have to play ball too. So that's one that is very easy to
and if they had anybody on the committee that would push back on this, they would bring up these quotes and be like, oh, you mean this person that he fired in 2018 and took a giant steaming dump on? Oh, you mean Roger Stone, who he distanced himself from in 2015 and says he hasn't been in communication with him?
Right.
These are the people. And by the way, the orbit of people, can I go back to that again? The 3 people that are in that video, that's almost a Joe Biden rally. I get it. I understand he was able to pull that kind of number, but still, 3 people were in the video.
And to be clear, I don't know Roger Stone at all. I've never spoken with him. I don't have anything against him. I don't know him personally. I just know that Donald Trump fired him in 2015 and he has no bearing on what Donald Trump did regarding January 6th. Look, I would never say it. Roger Stone and his stupid fucking Gomez Adams suits. I walked up to, did you know this? I walked up, you probably didn't know this, people. I walked up to him, he said, "Cover me." He started kissing my arm, folks. It's weird.
It's off-putting.
It's off-putting, right? That's what he says. I would never say that. Dave says it's off-putting. He says that's what he tells me. It's off-putting.
Watch Louder with Crowder live, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern.